ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, and me, Dukect. Thank you so much for listening to me live on TalkShoe.com. Remember, anyone, if you want to check into the show, as always, the phone number is 605-562-0444. Once again, the number is 605-562-0444. And the call ID to connect to me, Dukect, is 92417. Once again, the call ID is 92417. And if you just want to have a headset and a mic, you just sit there, connect the thing, and bada bing, bada boom, you can connect to me that way. But there's also ways, if you don't want to do it, there's always the chat room is always on lock. And, it's also on lock, which looks going to be on lock, New Japan Pro Wrestling in America. I just found this out actually, supposedly this past couple days. This was a huge news, because I may not actually sit next to the only time I've watched New Japan Pro Wrestling was the big crossover show they did with Ring of Honor, and I was impressed by it. I haven't bought New Japan Pro World yet. I haven't done that, and but the talent I saw and the talents I do see coming in when they do other promotions, I am really impressed by. In fact, not just the G1 Supercard, but also an All Out, All In. I saw I saw some really good stuff from the New Japan Pro Wrestling, and I was impressed by it. And I'm watching the Nats game, and I'm still so stretched. 1 out, bottom of the 6th, still 2-2. My heart's still just I don't know what's gonna happen. All right. But you know what? Okay. Let's sit back and continue back to the show. New Japan Pro Wrestling having they're going to basically have an establishment of U.S.-based subsidiary starting, I believe, in November, next month. And my thoughts are very interesting about this. This is shocking, and they seem to be growing. They think that this just New Japan Pro, they want to make this bold statement. And when you look at what's happening with AEW, and then you have Impact Wrestling on Access TV, and again, they're sharing a channel with them. Are they going to be a part of this U.S. expansion? They are. There's the people behind it. It's going to be the base in California. Based in California is and then of course they get it. They got a double, of course. Okay. All right. Be positive. The Astros just got a double. But anyway, back to the point. The CEO is Takimari Obari. The CFO is Mikahari Niwata. COO Konami Tetsuya. And they plan to open it in November 2019, and it's gonna be 100% it's gonna be 100% operated by by New Japan Pro Wrestling, and the structure of New Japan Pro Wrestling and the decision is that is only the phase 1 is discovering new wrestlers in markets outside Japan and developing talent through the LA dojo, and then phase 2, run events in the United States, including at Madison Square Garden and Dallas this year, both independently and with Matt at the senses of other promotions. And he already did both of these, one with Ring of Honor and the other, I think mostly by themselves. It is the G1 Climax, which is interesting. And now is phase 3. They were saying the rise of a company within the U.S. and be grained in everyday fabric when it comes to fans and wrestling consciousness. That's going to be something really interesting. How they're going to do these. How the New Japan, while it does have a very rabid United States fan base, I don't know if it's going to actually integrate with most of the pro wrestling fans. I mean, it might just have that new smell that AEW has, but it's that type of strong style, that type of high-level wrestling. is that going to really draw in the American audience, the casual one? That's where the big bucks are. And oh boy, no, I just unintentionally walked them. That's just great. All right, all right. Back to the point. This is a question of what type of styles are they going to bring? The strong style New Japan Pro Wrestling is going to bring, and a lot of people are worried about. I think some people are worried about this, including myself, is how they're going to actually, compete with other United States-based markets and such. I mean, I'm talking about in that Impact Wrestling, but also, Ring of Honor. They're a bit of a messed up situation there. I might have to talk about that one day. How Ring of Honor, how it's just gotten so bad. I'll talk about that soon, maybe, and such. But there's Impact Wrestling. There is AEW. There's WWE, which is pretty much this is it. And funny enough, some people are saying that the reason why they did this is because the WWE was trying to talk to them, New Japan Pro Wrestling, to talk to. I don't know. Let me just see here. Let's see. Because supposedly they wanted to do. Supposedly they were going to do. They're trying to do buy Pro Wrestling Noah to start NXT Japan, which to me is stupid. I have no idea why they would do something like that. I don't know why they would actually, Pro Wrestling Noah to do this, to bring in NXT Japan. NXT UK is having issues of drawing people and such. And then you have the NXT UK who barely can draw now, and such. And now I'm sitting here, I'm like, wasn't NXT supposed to be a developmental brand? But again, that's another issue. But it looks like they were going to, offers to buy them and to talk to Japan, but that could be rumors and such. But it is interesting how you had this story, and you had this huge story of this thing happening while this huge story of what New Japan Pro Wrestling did. New Japan Pro Wrestling doing this huge U.S. expansion while NXWE is trying to do NXT Japan, which is kind of hilarious, if you think about it. But now you look what's going on in the United States. New Japan Pro Wrestling is getting into WWE's backyard. Not only backyard, but this is their house. For whatever it is, this WWE has, people when think pro wrestling in the United States, they think WWE. For better or for worse, people think that way. AEW is trying to come in that, but again, too new. And heck, most of their main stars are WWE, former guys who work at WWE. That's going to be, the question then becomes what's going to be this situation? How you get how are you going to get American faces into a company? You need to have recognizable faces, but I look at them like, are they going to bring in that huge audience? And if they try to bring a huge audience, are they going to be consistently? Are they going to stay, or just going to be like, it's nice and new, but yeah, it's not going to be for them. What's going to be? That's a question, And Nat's got the second out. Okay. But that's going to be the question, how they're going to do this, and what is it going to be, how they're going to, they're going to be running events in the East Coast, 4 cities across 3 states. It's going to be in Maryland, New York, and all these places. So it's going to be very interesting how they're going to actually continue, How are they going to continue to basically bring in more of the audience and such? How are they going to actually do that type of bring in the audience and such like that? So, and the questions is going to be, is New Japan Pro Wrestling, what's going to be the difference between these two? Are they going to have just the American branch or just Japanese wrestlers? Are they just going to be purely American wrestlers fighting in this New Japan, the headlines that is? So what's going to be? They ask these questions here, and it says one of them is, will there be plans with longer tours in the United States in order of the 3 to 4 week power struggle tour that crosses the whole country as distinct to the condensed Super J Cup or Fighting Unleashed weekends? It says, and Obari says, quote, you saw the map as presented earlier. I think we're keeping the tours in place in the areas and not outside. It isn't practical to be jumping between East and West Coast, but you have a West Coast tour and then a Texas tour and a Central tour and so on. They are just having that plan and to say we're going to just need to, to build themselves. They have an East Coast tour, which is going to work into Texas and Midwest, all this stuff. So that's going to be very interesting how they're going to pull it off. And it also says, will tours in the United States run concurrently with Japanese tours? It says the main idea will be that United States events will take place while the Japanese schedule is being tours. If there's high demand from fans, simultaneous tours may become a possibility. In tail-scale events, they're looking at venues at the 2,000 seat range that may be lower depending on the circumstances. They're a live event company, and the first priority is a live event company is to run more venues. And once people are in those venues, then they can fire them up and have them ready to spread the word larger and larger audiences. That's the thing. They're going to slow up and everything else. And they're also going to be broadcast on NJP, New Japan Pro Wrestling World, their streaming service. That's what the plan is. They'll have a large space. They're saying as much as humanly possible. We plan for the events to be live on New Japan NJPW World. Well, we can't arrange for live broadcasts. They'll be on demand. As far as the dojo events are concerned, this isn't decided at all. But we have a large space in the LA dojo, and it may be a possibility in the future. So they might make the LA dojo into a full sale. That's interesting. It says right here, another interesting question. It says, will the increase in American events, let's say a reduction in the number of Japanese events? Obari says there are no plans to reduce the number of Japanese events. That's going to be a real interesting stuff here. So there's going to be some interesting things in this New Japan Pro Wrestling and how this stuff is. I don't know. But what I do see is going to be something. What's going to be like, oh my gosh, how are they going to really connect with the audience? My question is how they're going to connect to the audiences. Are they going to have a different shift of it? Is it going to be a mix of New Japan also with USA style booking? I don't know. But that's going to be something we get into. And hopefully November and then maybe into next year when the things start to really keep and hitting up. Well, that's really interesting. We'll be right back right after this, and at the next stop and the final stop of the Dukect Lounge, we talk about AEW and what it's been doing well and what has not been doing well. We'll be right back right after this here, live on TalkShoe.com, here in the Dukect Lounge. Thank you so much for joining me. We'll be right back right after this.